you like it. A lot of college ball to get to this hour as we will preview what the Big 12 looks like going into the big dance. We'll do that in about 15 minutes. But let's recap Pac-12 as we move to the semifinals tonight. 4 games last night, including your Oregon Ducks, were here. You'll hear them again today. Tip at 5 o'clock, pregame coverage at 4:30, right here today, the fan home of the Ducks. That was probably the best game we had yesterday was Oregon-UCLA.
Yeah, it came right down to the wire. Infale Dante looked fantastic all game long for the Ducks.
It just kind of shows you that the Ducks have had a really strange season. A lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Altman seems a little perturbed. I don't know the best way to
He's
call it.
always kind of perturbed, though. Like this year, you might say that they've underperformed, and I feel like people in the national media have said that about the Ducks, but then when you look at what they've had to deal with this year, the amount of injuries, I mean, Jackson Shellstad, he's been fantastic as a freshman, but I know that he's had to take a bigger role than they necessarily might have wanted him to have to take because of all the injuries around it. It does feel like they're getting healthy at the right time. Mm-hmm. It feels like the Pac-12 is going to get a third team. Now, is it going to be Colorado, Oregon, or Utah was in the conversation now that they lost
Colorado's
to Colorado?
in, Utah's out. So, and the only way that the Ducks net rating, they don't have enough quad one wins. The only way the Ducks get in is to win the thing.
You think that's
they're not even on the next 4 out line right now.
and they've got Arizona today, and Arizona put a wax on USC.
They beat
yesterday.
Arizona today, and that will get everybody's attention, and then they will start to creep back into right squarely on the bubble. But they got their work cut out for them today.
Yeah, I think Arizona is starting to peak a little bit.
But Umar Ballo and Infale Dante going head-to-head is going to be fun.
Arizona, I think, is kind of peaking. They put the wax on USC last night, avenging a loss from about a week ago. Arizona sees their number 1 seed potentially slipping.
Yeah.
Now with Duke out, UNC can kind of run through the ASCC in theory, and that could steal that last 4th number 1 seed. That's kind of been Arizona's all year.
Tennessee's in there too for
Tennessee
that conversation.
Could have that conversation.
They need to win
well.
this tournament. Plus, we'll put a future on them.
So then we'll walk into today, and today's schedule, we've got great games. Like I said, you can hear Oregon, Arizona right here on the Fan. Pregame coverage at 4:30 with tip at 5. And then the nightcap is Colorado, Washington State. If Colorado wants to get in the tournament, which they should, let's hope they do. Let's hope we get a third in.
I think everybody thinks they're in now.
Okay.
They might even be off the last 4 in line. They might be first 4 buys.
They might not have to go to Dayton?
The only way to guarantee that is don't get blown out.
Right. It's got to be close.
Wazoo looked real good yesterday. They looked balanced. I was worried when we had who was it? Was it Ken Barkley that kind of smashed my Cougs saying they looked tired, or was it Swag? I can't remember.
It wasn't me.
It was Barkley.
It was Barkley. I was worried about that too. Just looked gassed. Did not look good against UW. Did not look good against Arizona State. Coming off that high, these kids don't know. They shouldn't have been there. They're picked to finish dead last.
Yeah, but Stanford didn't have anything left in the tank after their overtime.
And it cost Stanford's coach's job.
Yeah, thanks, Jared Haas.
Yep, cost him his job, and that's fine because I hated those stupid suits.
Yeah, but the Buffs are 1.5-point favorites right now,
and that is absolutely ridiculous to me. Absolutely ridiculous. This is gonna be the best game. I think.
He's right into the Cougs' hand.
Well, but I also get this might be where the national media comes in, and I get Vegas doesn't really listen to them totally, but at the same time, you look at Colorado. They have what few star players there are in the Pac-12. They do have that star power over them. They're a more athletic team where Washington State is more of a team-oriented game.
Well, they've got a couple of
They're unselfish.
Potential first-round draft picks. They got 1 lottery pick.
You're talking about a guy who might be a number 1 overall pick in Colorado, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
top 3.
But certainly a lottery pick.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have just a tremendous point guard. The point guard matchup's going to be great.
It's going to be an awesome game. It's a bummer that's the one I can't bet.
Why can't you bet it?
You can't bet Washington teams in Washington.
Oh, see, that's how I don't know. That's what I don't know.
Can't bet Gonzaga, can't bet Washington State, can't bet UW.
Can't bet Seattle U?
Can't bet Seattle U. Nope.
They're playing Grand Canyon today, aren't they?
Yeah, WAC. They won last night. I think the WAC semifinals going on in Vegas.
But if we get to let's say we go chalk here. Let's pull a little Ken Barkley and say we go chalk and say it's Arizona Wazoo in the Pac-12 championship. Does Washington State have more to gain from that win than Arizona has to lose from that loss? Because right now, Wazoo's probably
Arizona is no worse than a 2 seed, period.
Right.
So, yes.
to where if Wazoo wins, it could bump them to maybe a 4 seed.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Yeah. I think WSU would need it more than Arizona because I think it would give them more of a respect on a national level. Like, I still think there's a little bit of like, they overperformed this year when you get into the tournament.
Clock's going to strike midnight real quick.
Right. That's
they'll be an
talent
easy team people pick for it to be upset.
100%.
They won't know who the 13 seed is or the 12 seed, and they'll just pick them.
Right. They're going to play like
right now they're
last team.
projected to be in Spokane. That's a huge help playing Princeton.
I might go up there.
And the national media
Everyone's gonna take
loves
Princeton.
They're
They're gonna take
It's a
Princeton.
5-12 matchup.
Yeah,
They
they're going
love
to take Princeton.
right now. They're going to get taken to be the big upset. They'll be the favorite upset.
Yeah, the Arizona thing is interesting too. When we talked to Ken Barkley yesterday, asked him, does Wazoo have a shot at beating Arizona a third time? And he said no way. And so I'm curious in your guys' opinion. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. We see it in football the most, but you can see it in basketball as well.
Tommy Lloyd is undefeated in Pac-12 tournament play since taking over Arizona.
And that's a pretty nice thing. However, he has not defeated this Washington State team this year.
Yeah.
Is there a real narrative that Wazoo can pull? I don't mean, of course, they can win a game. It's basketball. Of course, they can win.
I think they're more apt to fit into the style. Arizona's going to want to get it up and go at some pace. I think Washington State can play at that pace. They don't want it to be a total track meet. But you've got quality guards who can handle the ball and make good decisions with it. And so they're going to have to keep up shooting threes with Arizona.
It's a matchup problem for sure. I just worry that the athleticism that Arizona has, and it's crunch time now. This isn't a February game. This isn't a January game where, you know what? Like
Colorado poses a little
right
different problem for Arizona because they will try to control the pace, and they're a lot bigger and more physical than Washington State is.
They got better guards, too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think so?
I think I'm more worried about their front line.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about a guy like Tristan Da Silva getting out on Larson and causing him problems. Yeah. I think the guards are fairly close.
When you're looking at this with Arizona, let me ask you guys this. Obviously, one on paper is better than the other. Would you rather be a 1 seed or a 2 seed?
I don't think it matters anymore the way that they set it up. Because the 2 seeds, the 2 seeds still get sent to a region that's as close as possible. It might not be as close.
Right.
So Arizona, they haven't projected going to Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay.
Because you have 8 venues, so the 4 1 seeds get the closest venue to them. And then the 2 seeds will get preferential treatment based on what the other 4 first-round sites are.
And I wonder, like...
Now, somebody always gets left out because there's usually something weird geographically if you have if it's not an even distribution of 1 and 2 seeds based on where all your sites are.
I think I'd rather be a 1.
And I never know because I think I'd rather be a 1 too because 7-10 games always terrify me.
Yeah.
And teams that go on runs tend to be like when a 10 seed beats a 2 seed.
I don't think I think there's a lot more parity. I think the 1-bid conferences for the most part have figured out how to set up their conference tournaments to try to protect their top seeds. We don't see as many true Cinderellas coming through. There's always 1 or 2. Sure. But the 16 seeds overall are far more formidable than they used to be.
Yeah.
And we've seen 2 upsets in the last, 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, and 0 before that.
So the advantage of a 16 seed versus a 15 seed, I don't think is as big as it used to be.
All right, well, Pac-12 basketball today, Pac-12 basketball tomorrow. We'll see what Selection Sunday hits. Like I said, you can hear the Ducks and Oregon tonight here on 10 of the Fan, home of the Ducks. At 5 p.m. is tip, 4:30 pregame coverage.